After hitting record highs this spring, fertilizer prices are starting to cool. What does that mean for farmers for the rest of this season and heading into 2023? Ag Day's Michelle Rook joins us with details.
Clinton, prices for major fertilizer products have dropped substantially from the March records as demand for product has started to pull back. However, the big question is whether or not prices will continue to fall, and is it time for farmers to be locking in some of these prices for the 2023 season? Compared to March, urea prices in the NOLA or New Orleans, Louisiana market topped out at $935 per ton and are currently in the lower $500 range. Phosphate is down from $1,000 to between $750 to $800 per ton, while potash has dropped $150 to $200 from its highs. So will those trends continue? One fertilizer expert says it's very hard to predict because of the geopolitical unknowns.
And the problem is, for each one of the major ones, nitrogen, phosphate, and potash, there are major global factors at play that even if it was fundamental, it'd be hard enough to call on its own. But a lot of these factors are government driven, or they're products outside the realm of the fertilizer world.
He says the 2022 fertilizer market is also setting up similar to 2008 when prices fell in conjunction with corn prices, as shown on this graph.
And of course, as we remember, the prices went up and then gradually started to drop off. And this year, it is extremely close.
So the big question is, should farmers lock in some of these fertilizer prices, and do you lock in grain prices at the same time? Linville says they're advising hitting singles, not home runs.
We need to be looking for opportunities where we can lock in our inputs, whether that be fertilizer, whether that be chemical, whether that be seed, and sell some grain against it. If that relationship, we look at it and we say, yes, I can be profitable with these type of numbers, then it's worth putting in a layer.
Fertilizer price trends still ride on the war and whether Russia will be able to supply natural gas to Europe for nitrogen production, and if Lithuania allows Belarus to export potash. Plus, China is resuming phosphate exports, but Linville says the time frame is still unknown. Now, Linville says an additional wild card for the market is if the world is moving into recession. That can lower demand for grains and fertilizer. That could also dampen prices.